Hey, scheduling class. Hope you guys are doing good and staying healthy. Last week in our Zoom session, we went over a few things on just tips and tricks for scheduling with Microsoft Project. And a lot of you were not on the call. And so I wanted to put this video together to go over some of those things with you. So if you were on the call last week, then this is going to be a review, and you don't have to watch this unless you want to go over some of those things that we talked about last week again. And so you'll have this resource that you can go back to. But for those of you who weren't on the call, this is going to be really helpful for you. And so I encourage you to watch this as you're getting together your 90% schedule this week. And so I've actually got a Zoom call with you in about an hour. So you may not have watched this video yet, but you know, you're always welcome to email me and ask me questions, have me look over your schedule. We can set up a Zoom call. We can set up just a regular phone call to talk about things, whatever you want to do to go over this. So you got your 90% schedule due this Friday. And then next week is your final projects due. So these next 2 weeks are really critical for your success in scheduling class. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I've just got this real basic schedule set up, and I'm going to go through a few things with you here on this schedule. So bear with me. I'm going to be going back and forth between a couple of things and just showing you some basics that you may have learned before, but you may have forgotten. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to set up like your project title and author. And so you're going to do that underneath File. And when you go into File, you're going to see this project information over here. And it doesn't look like it's a link, but when you click on it, it's a drop-down menu. You can go to Advanced Properties. And in Advanced Properties, you got General, and under Summary, you can adjust the title. You can adjust the author, the company, because all of this is really important. Because when you go to your legend, this is the next part of it, the legend that's down at the bottom of your schedule, when you print it out, all of that is going to import into that legend. And let me show you how to mess with that. So in that same file area, you go to print. And under page setup is where you're going to change this stuff. So over here, you've got your footer and you've got legend. Those are tabs at the top of this little menu here. And so under legend, down here, you've got the left part of your legend, the center part of your legend, and the right part of your legend. Okay, so under left, this one is set up so that it displays project title and date. You can also add things. You can go in here and you can add things like the author. There's all kinds of stuff that you can add and author. Okay, and so you'll see down here Kent events schedule with the date. Once I do this, it adds NAU student in there, which is the author. And so I've asked you some specific things that you should put into that legend. Make sure you get those things in there. But that's all going to be under print page setup, and then go to the legend. Okay, so you should have set up your schedule originally to be auto-scheduled. You'll see these little blue boxes over here to the left. If you do not see those blue boxes, then you did not set it up to be auto-scheduled, and you're going to have problems. So where you would do that is under Options, so File and Options, and then you go to Schedule, and in Schedule, you can see down here, New Task Created, Auto-Scheduled or Manually Scheduled. So you want that as auto-scheduled for all your new tasks. But if you didn't, and you already have your tasks in there, and some of them are set up to be auto-scheduled, and some of them are manually scheduled, then you'll see a lot of these thumbtacks through here like this. And what that does is that means that those dates won't change when you link things together, and it'll just mess things up. So you really want everything auto-scheduled. And so if you do have these thumbtacks in here, what I want to show you real quick is an easy way to change those. So just go over and highlight all of that. Right click on your highlighted area, go to auto schedule, and everything that's not auto scheduled, it'll change to auto schedule. Pretty easy. But make sure you set it up so any new activities you put in gets auto scheduled so that you don't have to keep changing them. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to show you was how to change your working times and add exceptions for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so under project at the very top, you'll see a button for change working time. And so in here, what you would do is down here, you might have none of these things input, but you can go in and you can add new exceptions. So if you're adding an exception right there, you could tell it what date it is, and you know, this is all like a really old schedule, but you know, you can tell what date it is and say okay, and then all of a sudden that's an exception date. Now you could also change what kind of schedule it is. Now we're doing a standard project calendar schedule here, 5 days a week you're working, but if you want to change night shift, 24 hours a day working, that would be one thing that you could do here. So you got working times are 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's what it's set up for right now. But you can change all that in here. But I do want you to input all these exceptions for your calendar because those need to be input so that you can get an accurate schedule. Make sure that they're in there. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you was how to import resources, or input resources, I'm sorry, not import, but input. And so this is resource names right here. There's a column for it. If you do not have a column for it, go to the add new column and type in resources, and you can put in resource names, but I don't want that because I already have one of those. So I'm going to right click on it and hide that column. So here. Now, if you haven't put any resources in, I want you to put in general contractor, concrete, earthwork, whoever's doing the work, you can put it right here. And so I know this isn't concrete, but let's say that this is concrete and then it's earthwork. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put this in for every single one. That's crazy. Well, once you put these things in, let's say that's GC and this is the architect. Once you put those things in, then you can do the pull down menu. And you can just go through here and say, well, that one's concrete. So you only have to type it in once. And then you're golden, okay? Let's see, how to view your entire project. So what you're gonna end up with here is all of these bar charts. Let's say they get really crazy out here. So I'm gonna connect all these right here. And it's gonna get really long. So I'm gonna go up here to task. I'm going to hit the connect button. And now you see that this is off my bar chart area, especially if I put in like 20 days, 20 days for that one and 20 days for this one and 100 days for this one. You can see like this is way out there. You can't see this whole thing. So what you're going to want to do, and you're going to do this multiple times while you're scheduling, is, and especially before you print, because before you print, you need to zoom in to make sure that you can see all of your bar charts, or they're not going to print. Your printing is going to be really messed up. So right click on the calendar up above and go to zoom, entire project. Okay. That'll bring it back into your field of view. So now you can see everything that has been scheduled. Okay. So right click, zoom, entire project. All righty. Let's see here. What else did I want to show you? So if you haven't figured this out yet, I want to make sure that you know how to display your critical path. So you can see that all these red bars are critical path. All these blue bars are not critical path. Obviously, they're not even connected to anything right now, so they're definitely not going to be critical path. But if you don't have any red bars in your schedule, then you're not displaying a critical path. That is done right here under Format, Critical Tasks. Make sure you have that clicked on so that it shows your critical path. And then you can go over here to View and work on your filters so you can view all critical tasks. Okay, so now it's showing only your critical tasks. And I want you to do that so that you can review your critical path and say, well, does that look right? Well, my landscaping is on the critical path. That's not right. So you would change something at that point. It's an easy way to double check yourself. I'm going to go back to no filter. The other thing you can do with that filter is once you have all your resources input, as you know, you're going to have to print out a schedule for just drywall subcontractors. So once you have all the resources input, all the subcontractors input, you can go up here to the filter and click on this and click on filter using resource. I'm going to go to concrete because I don't have drywall in there right now. But if I just wanted to show all of the line items that had concrete as the subcontractor, I'll click on that and there it is, 2 of them. Okay, perfect. Now, as you can see, the way this bar chart is set up, it shows the resource over here to the right side of the bar. And you can leave it like that if that's how you want to show it. But if you want to show it here, you can do that too, and you can take your bar chart. So let me show you how to change what your bars look like. Okay, so it's under Format, Bar, and Bar Style. So it's Format, and then you can format the bars. Let's see here. Bar styles. Okay, so here is the bar styles. Everything is here. So under like your normal task, you can see it's a blue bar. But you can change that if you want by going down here. But the big thing that you want to change is the text. So down here, your text to the right, it says resource names. So if you wanted to change that, you just delete it. Okay, well, you see that it didn't delete these right here because these are not regular activities. They're on your critical path. So if you want to change your critical path ones too, you go back here, bar styles, go down to your critical tasks. Okay, so let's look at that one. You could change what color it is or how it looks. To the right, resource names. Let's delete that. Okay. And it deleted it right here off of those critical task bars. Okay, so you can play around with how your bars look and how the bar chart looks and what it says next to those bars. You could have the activity name, like whatever you have for your task name, you could have that listed next to the bars if you wanted. That's up to you. Okay, so let's see. I'm going and I'm reading a file so that I can remember what I want to show you guys here. Okay, I did want to show you this details view. Let me go back and let's undo the filter. So going to view and then filter, no filter. Okay, everything's back now. And I wanted to show you how to do the details view, because this can help you a lot of times also. if I can find it. Okay, so it's under view, and it's this tab right here, details view. Now, if you click on details view, it'll split your screen. And down here at the bottom, you'll see whatever task you're on at the top, it's going to give you the details for that task, what it's connected to, etc. So for this one, it has a predecessor of number 4, contract award, and it has a successor of number 6, received bids. Okay, it shows you finish to start relationship, and if there's any lag or not. And that's the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is overlapping activities and how you can do that with lag. So this is the details view. There's other ways that you can do this, obviously. You can do it right here. You've got predecessors and successors. You can change it there. You can change your finish to start relationship by going over here to the arrow and double clicking on that. And you've got all these different finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. Okay, and you've got your lag here. You can do that here, or you can do it all right here. Now, let me tell you that when you first click on the details tab, you may need to right click right here where it says predecessor. It may not say predecessor. You may need to right click on it. It might be at like resource and predecessors. I like to have it at predecessors and successors so that I show my predecessors over here, my successors over here. That always helps me quite a bit when I'm working on organizing my schedule. Now, let me take this back to 20 days for one thing. Let me show you a few things about overlapping activities. Now, we can overlap activities in multiple ways. The first and easiest way, if it makes sense for your schedule, is to give 2 activities the same predecessor. So for example, we've got contract award. If we wanted to request for bids and receive bids at the same time, which I'm not saying that that makes sense, I'm just using this as an example because it's right here, I could go in here and give them the same predecessor. So you see number 5, request bids as a predecessor of 4. If I give number 6 that same predecessor, you'll see that now those 2 activities overlap. What that means is I need to give number 5 another successor. Every activity except your first and last need a predecessor and a successor, no matter what. None of your summaries should have predecessors and successors. If you see any bolded predecessors and successors, that is not correct. Okay, so maybe I give this one the same successor of 7. Okay, so now all of this is connected here and it works. All right, let's go back and undo all that. The next thing I can do if I want these things to happen at the same time is I can give them a start-to-start relationship. We can do that multiple ways. So here, I'm clicked on receive bids. I want a start-to-start relationship with the previous one, which is request for bids number 5. So in here where it shows FS, that's finish to start, which it's shown as right now, but I want to change it to a start to start. Click OK. Now those are overlapped because they have a start to start relationship. The important thing is here, right now it shows a 6SS as the successor in number 5. But you'll see that there is no successor for number 5. It needs an actual successor. So you may want to give it, let's say, number 7. Okay, so now it has a successor. Everything's connected here. There is another way by using a finish to start relationship with a negative lag. Okay, so the lag is how much you overlap activities, you lag them either positively or negatively. Scheduling gurus will tell you you're not allowed to do negative lags. I'm not going to tell you that because I use them all the time in industry, and it made my life really nice and really good because a lot of times it makes sense. Okay, so if you click on that line, you can do the lag here, or you can do it down here. If I gave this a negative lag of 10 days, they're both 20-day activities, it's going to overlap that thing half. Okay, so it brought that activity back. So no matter how long this activity takes, let's say it takes 30 days, it's still going to be lagged by 10 days. Say it takes 40 days, still going to be lagged by 10 days. So that means that this number 6 activity, receive bids, is going to start 10 days before request for bids ends. Okay. I can do this with a start to start relationship too. So let's go back. Let's make this a start to start relationship again. So remember, I can click on the arrow and do that like that. Or I can go down here and I can change it down here. Start to start. Okay. Now, the lag, I can do a start to start relationship with a positive lag. And so if I did a positive lag of 10 days, it's going to put it in the exact same spot. You see, it's overlapped 10 days. Now, the problem with this is that if this activity gets blown out to 40 days, like I showed you before, it doesn't change where the second activity lies. And depending on the activities, number 6 activity may not be able to finish until this activity finishes. So this wouldn't make any sense because this activity isn't finishing until 5/28, and this activity is scheduled right now to finish on 5/14. So that's not correct. That's why the negative lag is nice, because it's going to take that second activity with it when it gets pushed out. All of this takes of you putting in thought of what activities am I linking together? How do I want them to overlap? And remember, don't forget that this one needs a successor. So you're going to need to add in, you can't add in 6 because it's already linked start to start with 6. So you'd have to add in 7. And now this activity is not critical until it pushes out beyond. So still not critical at 25 days. Still, well, it is critical at 30 days. It wouldn't be critical at 29 days. Okay. And then it's critical at 30 days. And then at 35 days, it's going to start to push that activity. Okay. So that's lags, positive lags and negative lags, and how you can overlap those activities using positive lags, negative lags, start to start relationships, finish to start relationships with those activities. So if y'all have any questions about this, please feel free to contact me. These are just a few real basics of stuff that may help you as you're putting your schedule together. So hope you're all doing good. I'm going to end this session, and you guys can contact me if you need me.